Self-sabotage. In this story, I want to take you back many years ago when I first got my job working at the swingers club. I told you before, when I got my job, I was the lowest on the totem pole. I was the guy in the back room, picking up the condoms, cleaning the shit, cleaning the piss. That was my job. Also in the back room, there's going to be one bartender. It's going to be the shittiest bartender the club has to offer. There will be one other gentleman who stands in one position. He doesn't move. He stands like a pole. He's just making sure single males do not cross into the couple's side. He's making sure by the color wristbands the people were wearing, the guests were wearing. Didn't take me long to figure out who I wanted to hang around with and who I didn't want to hang around with. Me and the guy standing like a pole started to click because we wanted to do our job, we wanted to do our job correct, and we wanted to grow. I wanted to learn the business. Everyone else working there was about drinking, was about drugging, was about shit I didn't want to be a part of. Do what you do, no problem. I'm going to do my job correct. I didn't fit in. They didn't want to be around me. I didn't want to be around them. But me and the gentleman standing like a pole started to click. We were on the same page. He was about in his late 50s, early 60s. Big guy dressed real sharp, always in a suit. At the end of the night, when the club would close, we would go get breakfast when the sun's coming up. I guess it would be our dinner, but it would be breakfast at Denny's or IHOP or some bullshit like that. We started to hang out on our days off. We started to become friends. Eventually, I asked him, I said, what are you doing in the back room? Why are you in the back room? He said, I am the owner's brother. I said, wow, why are you in the back? You should be managing the club. He said, I was. And he began to tell me what happened that led him into the back. He said, me and my brother opened up clubs at the same time. My brother opened up a swingers club, which we're working at, and I opened up a fetish club. I said, was it doing good? Did it make money? He said, yes, that thing was cranking. It was making tons of money. It was good business. I said, well, what happened? He said, I started to self-sabotage myself. I started sleeping and fucking with all of the women. I got one woman pregnant. The woman who I got pregnant was hooked on dope. Eventually, being around her, I got hooked on dope. We ended up having a custody battle for the child, and any money that club made went straight back to the dope. I eventually lost the business, but at least I got my child. He tells me. I said, well, what'd you do after that? He says, I went to my brother and begged him for a job. I said, give me a chance. I'll do a good job. The brother said, no problem, and had me managing the club, put him in a management position. He said, I had it running good. The club was doing great. What happened? Why'd you end up in the back? He said, well, I self-sabotaged myself again. I started fucking around with the women. I started doing drugs again. My brother heard what I was doing, saw what I was doing. People were telling him. He confronted me. There was a big fight, and he let me go. Many years passed. We didn't talk. But eventually, I had to go running back to him. I was in a shithole house, and I was driving a shit box. I needed money. So I went back to my brother. I said, give me another chance. Give me another opportunity. So the brother put him in the back room where I was. But he said, at least I'm not picking up the shit like you are. And we laughed and we started to hang out. We started to grow, like I said. Years would pass and we started working our way up through the ranks, through the positions, real quick, because the people working there were all fucked up. After a few years, like I said, I started managing and running the #1 swingers club in the nation. Next to me was the brother. We worked our way all the way up to the top. On the weekends, we would manage it together. On the weekdays, we would alternate to see who would go in. After a while, I wanted to open up my own club. I wanted to do my own thing. They tried to offer me more money to make me stay, but I left. I wanted to do my own thing. I left on good terms, and I'm still friendly with them to this day. Right where I'm standing right now, years pass. Right where I'm standing, the owner's brother walks in the door. I go around the counter. I go give him a big hug. I said, how are you? You still got that place running like clockwork? I say to him. He says, no, I fucked up. I self-sabotaged myself again. What did you do? He said, when you left, about a year passed, and I started to fuck with the women again. I started to do the drugs again. I fucked up. The brother found out and let me go. I said, what are you doing for money? He said, this is my girlfriend. She's helping me out right now. She's making me survive. So much potential, so much opportunity, and the whole time self-sabotaging himself. Self-sabotage is real. The successful stockbroker, the banker, the real estate agent, all falling victims to self-sabotage. And the old me. My one mistake was I tried to acquire before I became. My process and my coaching that I teach through my content in my private community, I teach becoming before you ever acquire. This is the only way to avoid the self-sabotage attached to our conscience. Our subconscious detecting fraudulence. When your subconscious detects fraudulence, you self-sabotage. Your subconscious knows you're not congruent with who you appear to be. That's the definition of real versus fake. Real is being and becoming. Fake is appearing to be. Only you know if you're truly living strong. Just because someone has a lot of muscles and is lifting weights doesn't mean they're strong. What strong means is bringing up your weaknesses. It's a constant battle, constant path, constant progression. Progression is life. I've said it a million times before. This is the path we must take. The path of exposing our weaknesses and overcoming them. We are only proud of what we overcome. Just because someone is successful doesn't mean they will ever feel it. If their energy is not congruent, mind, body, soul, if their mind, body, soul, spirit is not congruent, they will never feel their success. This comes from becoming before you acquire. You have to become before you acquire. Become disciplined, become responsible, become a man of character. The addict who acts like he likes sitting on the beach has to do drugs or whatever he's doing just to avoid his subconscious telling him he's a piece of shit. Avoid his conscience supplying all these negative thoughts and negative feelings. As soon as you get out of your own way, it's 100% love in the moment. I could come up with all this stuff because I got 100% clarity because I no longer get in my way. I teach you how to stay out of your way. But it's simple things like not answering the call to your conscience when it's telling you to diet more. It's going to cause regret, going to clog your focus, going to detour your focus. Now you're not 100%. As soon as you live in alignment with what your conscience is telling you, then you operate out of pure content. You operate out of pure inner peace. You operate out of the now. The now is what's powerful. That's why being real is being and becoming. The future we are creating. The now, the actions we are partaking in now. It's not in the past. The past is to learn from the mistakes, to reflect on, to gain wisdom through, to relearn in a positive way. I used to think I was hard when I'd be doing drugs. I'd have to do drugs to go to sleep years ago. That's not hard, that's weak. If you have to turn to vices to get you through your day, to go to bed, to persuade you on what your current reality is, then you have created a reality that you are not proud of. And if you are not proud of yourself, you had missed the whole point of life. You have to be strong. Don't let your external situation sway your internal feelings at all. Don't let it bother you at all. That's mastery. You're in control. You are in control of you. When you accept that, you will excel at you. When you will excel at you, you can excel at everything else. You will bring up other people to excel with themselves. Don't self-sabotage yourself. Being real is being and becoming. Don't be fake. Don't appear to be. Don't self-sabotage. You know, I know. Let's go.